Welcome back to Madam Across New Horizons. I'm Day Darling, and should we see what's going on on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where, well, I was going to be like, we have a lot to talk about. I'm not sure if we really do. The new Pokemon and Scarlet and Violet, I don't know if it was in a Pokemon Direct or something, I didn't even know it was going on today. A trailer dropped, I watched it, seems cool. I don't even know if I'm going to get Scarlet or Violet, or Violet. I haven't even finished Sword and Shield. I just, it's not about like, I dislike Pokemon or anything like that anymore. It's just more like I'm not feeling it, these big old Pokemon RPGs, but I do like seeing a multimedia order and all that surrounding it. I did say at some point I was going to try and make up some, try and draw what I thought the starters would evolve into, but I've never done that yet, so who knows. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:35 PM on Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. You know what? There's actually two other things I want to talk about. The second thing will probably be the actual conversational topic today, which we'll probably tell from today's title. But I actually yesterday wanted to talk about a dream I had on the day before yesterday or something. I don't know why. I remember waking up from a dream being like, oh, I should talk about that in Animal Crossing. Not because it's like Animal Crossing related or anything, but it's just like, this is like my open space to talk about things whenever I want to, and it was just like it was a very intriguing dream when I didn't really know what to make of it. But basically, perhaps it was sort of just like me thinking about superpowers or something before I was going to bed. I didn't really know off the top of my head, but it was sort of like, oh wait, when's Sunday in August? I don't really know how to describe it, because I don't know who. It was who is a problem, because I kind of feel like I was almost every character maybe in this thing, but also not. You know how it kind of is in dreams. You see like someone from third person and you're like, obviously you're not in first person with that person, so you can't be that person, but somehow it works out in the dream that yes, you are that person and you control them. And if you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, then maybe that's just a me thing. But basically the sense of who I am, I suppose, in a dream sort of goes out the window, but it doesn't really matter anyway. So I'll pretend I'm none of the characters. But anyway, it was, I can't remember what happened at the beginning anymore, but somehow we were following these people. This character dropped out in the middle of sea, who, sometimes look like Gil from Finding Nemo, but you know how it is in dreams, where people sort of like shapeshift and change forms and, whatever's convenient. And it turns out he had like the power to control water, and he was like trying to escape from like a really weird looking Napoleon fish crossed with a dugong sort of creature, like bizarre, and it was like eating everything else. I think they were just like dropped in the middle of the sea like because of a plane crash or something, and he was just trying to escape. And then he found like this overturned like boat thing, which he like used his powers of water to sort of like jump up into or something somehow. And then in there was the character who I think I was mainly throughout the stream, but I'm not really sure. She was like an ant queen or something. She was like an ant queen spider hybrid or something, with like the power to control ants or like and spiders or something. Yeah, heavens knows exactly where those ants or spiders even came from. But I remember at some point, somehow in the boat as well, there was also like an entire like military personnel or something who were there as well, like stranded, and we were just trying to figure out how to get off the island. And then the ant queen, the insect queen or whatever, the fort was like, oh, I've got. By the way, this insect queen was an insect themselves, I'd like to point out. Which is even more confusing. So they weren't just like a person. None of these people were people, apart from the army people were people, but also not people. And the insect queen was just like, oh yeah, I've got a brilliant idea. We can make like the ant rafts, because that's a thing which ants do. They can all like compile themselves together into like a raft, and like none of the ants drown because of something like surface tension or whatever. And then like the army people can put the ants and spiders, which also turned into crickets or something at some point, rafts together, and we can like skate out. And then they skated out of there or something. And then for some reason there's one person in this army platoon everyone hated for really no apparent reason. And they were like some yellow they looked like tigress, but not tigress. Like they switched back and forth between a human and like a tiger for some reason. They looked like a yellow tigress, and the army captain was like tigress but not tigress. From Kung Fu Panda, that is. It's very confusing. I just associate them with a tiger, but they didn't look like a tiger, which is kind of a weird part. And the entire rest of the journey was them trying to get rid of this yellow tiger person, being like, oh, we hate you. Oh, they didn't say we hate you, but like just being like, oh, I'll go get that thing, and then they just like leave or whatever. I don't know what this person's done, but the yellow person was completely ignorant of the entire thing, and just was like very confident and cocksure, I suppose, of themselves in the first place, and just sort of like walking around with a swagger, which they probably shouldn't have in the first place. And then at the final time they tried to get rid of him, and then the captain actually turned out like they got rid of the yellow tiger person, and then they left or whatever. And then it turns out the Captain Tiger went to go get them back, and then everyone's like, "Wow, why'd you get that yellow tiger back?" And it's like, "Oh, it turns out they can channel their chi, and they're actually a descendant of a line of like some inner chi benders or something." And then they taught me how to do it as well. And then I woke up, and I was like, I don't understand what on earth happened in that dream, but you know, it sounded like a more compelling story in my head at the time. Like when I was living it, I was like, oh man, this is it's like a young adult novel or something like that. You know, it's kind of like, what's that? Like Worm or something, with that girl who control like insects or something with her mind. I forget. It's kind of like that, except for like weirder and more nonsensical. And then I thought about it a bit more, and then I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a very good story, but you know, I've told you anyway, just so I can get it like out of my head. Write it down in infamy. If you want to make a story out of that, you are free to. Just give me royalties, or like a cut of royalties. I can't imagine you'll get very far with that sort of story concept, but I'm sure an experienced enough writer probably could. But anyway, that's the long and short of it. I don't really know what else to say about that. The other thing I was going to talk about, which is the main thing I'm going to talk about, is I actually cleaned out my computer today. And I don't mean in the digital sense, I meant in the physical sense. Because I was thinking, in the past couple of days, I was like, my computer's really loud, about sort of thing. And when I was thinking about it, like yesterday, while I was going to bed, I was like, when's the last time I cleaned out my computer? And then I thought about it longer, and I was like, I don't think I've done it for like 2 years or something. It's been ages since I've done it. I was like, oh, that's not good. There's probably a huge amount of dust building up in there. So this morning, took apart my computer. I actually turned it on, did some stuff, then like, you know, switched it off, took apart my computer, and I was like, nah, this computer is like hot. It's like overheating. Well, it's not overheating, but it's like definitely like far more warm to the touch than you might expect. And me touching it right now, not warm to the touch at all. I'd say mildly warm, but you know, it's actually kind of like warm to hot, I suppose, this morning. I was like, okay, time to clean this out. And then, you know, I have like a compressed, it's not a compressed air can, it's one of like, I think it's actually meant to be used for photography or something, for like cameras, for like blowing dust off lenses. It's one of like a squeezy bottle to do it. I don't have a compressed air can because, you know, I just don't. This one's nice at least because it's reusable, and it's often what I use to clean out my computer dust. And so, you know, got the vacuum out. You're not meant to use a vacuum directly on the computer parts because of like the vacuum of dust can cause like friction and static like shocks to happen or something somehow. I don't really know the details of it. So what you're meant to do is you're meant to sort of like point the vacuum near your computer and use a compressed air to sort of blow out all the dust and just get the dust to get captured in the vacuum, except it doesn't always work, and amazingly well, which is why you're meant to do it outside. I didn't do it outside, I just did it like I just did it in an empty room. Well, not an empty room, but like a cleared room, I suppose. So I was just doing that. I was just on the floor, you know, unscrew the back panel off, not the front panel, the back panel off, and like I would get like the compressed air, and there's a huge billowing of dust just immediately fills up the entire air. So the vacuum didn't do a very good job of vacuuming it all up. So I was, you know, sends you into a little bit of a coughing fit. You go, what's going on? And then you realise, you know, this is kind of like the bed you made. You know, this is an absence of your knowing. This is a creation due to your own absence. But I cleaned out all the back panel. I was like, oh, if that's how dirty the back panel is, how dirty is the inside front panel going to be? So I took off the front panel, and I was like, wow, it's actually like dusty on the inside somehow on the front panel, and it's also like very like smudged and dirty on the outside. So I got like a wet wipe to wipe it all down. Now it's like crystal. Well, it's not crystal clear necessarily, but it's pretty clear. At least I can't see any like sort of staining or anything on it. And then like in the inside, it's just covered with dust all on the bottom. Luckily, this computer, this case I have is an Inwin 303 and i303. I can't remember, to be perfectly honest, but it's got like a dust filter at the bottom because the intake is through the bottom of the PC, and it's got a dust filter which hopefully keeps out most of the dust. It doesn't keep out all the dust, and that's probably because I don't have like a positive air pressure or whatever it is for your computer. You're meant to have like more fans pushing out air than the fans pushing in air, pulling in air or something, so that way sort of minimises the amount of dust build up. But you know, also not complete cleaning your computer for 2 years, it probably will sort of maximise your dust build up in the first place. That filter was utterly covered. It was just like a thin layer of dust over the top of the entire thing, but it was very satisfying running the vacuum cleaner sort of like over it and having it suck up all the dust that was sort of caked onto it. And then, you know, when you get like little dust particles left inside the actual filter itself, you can get the compressed air squeezy bottle. It actually kind of like smells like a rocket. You go, whoosh, then push. All the dust cleared off the filter. The filter now is pretty clean. And I looked at the fan, and I looked at the fans. I was like, all the fans are just coated with like a layer of dust, which luckily most of them can be blasted up with a compressed air, which was nice. And then I looked at the bottom of my case, and there was like literal dust there. There was actually like a cobweb in there, and I was like, oh, you know, I don't know how a spider or anything would even get in here, but you know, probably didn't have a very good time vibing in there, seeing as that I don't think many flies are probably getting in there, so, you know, I probably vacuumed it up within the pile of dust. I didn't even notice it. But it's not just like, you know, you see it in cartoons being like, oh, this is just like a parody of things which is super dusty and dirty. It's like they have like cobwebs and spiders or whatever to make it dusty. But it legitimately just like happened to my computer, the literal cobweb inside. And I was like, what on earth? It's a very resilient spider, I must say. Sometimes there are spiders around my rooms and I'm just sort of just like, yeah, whatever. It's a spider. But, you know, if there's any insect I'd rather have in my house, it would be a spider, because a spider catches all the other really annoying insects. You know what would be the worst insect to have randomly around your house? Absolutely, number one, a wasp. Because they are aggressive and very annoying and stings hurt, probably. I haven't actually been stung by a wasp before, so I don't know. I guess number two would be like, oh, okay. I guess number one would be any venomous or poisonous insect. That would probably be pretty bad, but you know what I mean. I meant like usual insects that you'll see in the UK. But spider's pretty high up there for a pretty decent one, I would say. So yeah, what else? So just like a thick layer of dust on the bottom. You know, I was looking at my video card. There's like a ton of dust in like the grills, but like heatsink grills or whatever. And then, you know, cleaned that all out and just like the dust around the motherboard and scattered places. There was like dust in the sockets of like the I/O board. That's what's called, right? But the output board, the I/O board. I can't remember, on the back. Or like the things in like the HDMI ports, and I was like, oh, that's bad. And, you know, cleared out the fans, and then finally made our way to my all-in-one cooler, is what I use on my computer. And you might be like, hey, why are you using an all-in-one cooler? It doesn't, you know, haven't you seen the fact that all-in-one coolers don't actually cool things much more than, you know, just having a good old fan on top of your CPU? And I'm just like, I just like the look of the all-in-one cooler a little bit more. It's essentially why I don't like having a giant, big, bulky fan on the side of my CPU. Having instead an all-in-one cooler is nice, because it means that the fans which I used to cool the CPU are now detached away from the CPU, and thus it's a little bit easier to clean them. And by the way, I did absolutely need to clean them. They were utterly filthy, is what I'd say. But the fans themselves were filthy. And then I was cleaning out one of the fans, and I was like, why is there still so much dust? And I was looking through the dust, because not looking through the dust, looking through the fans. The fans were sitting on the heatsink as well, at the top of the computer case as well. And just like the entire computer case, which also has a dust filter on it, I might add, completely like covered in a layer of dust. And I was like, you know, this is probably why my computer's been so loud and not overheating recently, but been pretty, you know, hot. The temperature's running hotter than it needs to, you know. And then I was like, all right, now I need to go find a screwdriver, take off the fans, clean out the filter, put the fans back on. Now it's running smoothly, you know. Reassembled everything, turned on perfectly fine, and all that, and now my computer is so quiet, like I can't even hear it anymore. That's not true. I can hear it, but before it was like whirring rather loudly, probably because, you know, there was like quite a few years of dust to sort of just built up on my computer, and it was sort of just like suffocating under there, being like, please, it's 40 degrees right now, and I'm suffocating under like a layer of insulation, please help me. And I'm just like la 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 la, not doing anything. And yeah, and I was just thinking about it, because I was like, my computer's so loud, and now humming quite quietly. So, you know, I'm very appreciative of that. And if anything, it's a bit of just a lesson. Make sure you just keep stuff clean. And I was looking around my room, and I was also like, I need to like clean my windowsill and stuff, because it's quite dusty on my windowsill as well. And I need to do that at some point. My desk, I just need to clean a bit more my room and that sort of thing. I've been letting like dust and stuff build up for far too long. So that happens. But it's okay, you know. Perfect time to do a little bit of cleaning at the weekend. Why not? Or maybe I'll just do a little bit often each and every day. I was also looking at my windowsill, because I have a lot of random just like stuff on my windowsill, and I was like, I should really just like put a lot of this away in like boxes or something. I don't need all of this just sort of like chilling on my windowsill. Not that like my windowsill is really much anything else except for like a display windowsill, but it's not like I don't need a lot of this stuff here. Like, I don't need this random 5x5 Rubik's Cube, which is a really bad Rubik's Cube. Like, I keep my good Rubik's Cubes underneath my computer monitor over here. I forget what these ones are, but my Rubik's Cubes I like are the ones where they're like completely plastic. No stickers, it's just coloured plastic. And these ones have like a nice bright colour scheme, which I like. It's got like white, orange, and it's like pastel-y neon. It's not really pastel, it's more neon, I would say. But I always only ever see it from this angle. So, you know, there's like a bright yellow, bright orange, bright blue, sky blue, like a baby blue, I'd say. I wouldn't call that a baby pink, but it's sort of like a mid pink. And then I call this like a kind of like a lime green. I don't know what brand this is. It's got Chinese or something on the front. I mean, I don't even know what symbol, what character those are. Actually, that probably isn't Chinese. Oh, maybe it is Chinese. I'm gonna guess it says Morfeng, which is what it's kind of like Rubik's cubes are called, but like called Morfengs. I don't know what this part says. Wenhua. I'm not sure if that's right. Anyway, I can't remember where enough I got it. I got it from like some random Rubik's cubes I had ages ago, ordered them, and you know, honestly, they were pretty good. Back in the day when I was more infused about Rubik's cube solving, but nowadays, I could take it or leave it. Solving a 3x3 is fun, but solving a 2x2 is just a bit boring because I don't know any advanced tactics of solving a 2x2, so I just solve it like a 3x3. And solving 4x4, I think is actually more fun, but the problem is, the 4x4, you need to know like about ways to solve parity, which is just when like things are like not properly aligned with each other. And I'm just like, oh, I don't remember those algorithms off the top of my head like I do with a 3x3, so, you know, the 4x4 never ends up getting solved because it's just a nuisance because I had to look up I should really memorise that one parity algorithm because I think the 4x4 is by far and away the most fun to solve. But yeah, so now my computer's running cool. Like I've got a load of things open. You know, I've got like Steam. Well, I don't even know why I have Steam open. It's because I was playing a bit of Steven Sausage Roll earlier. So let's close that out. I've got PG admin running, got OBS running, you know, Discord. I've got a load of Mozilla Firefox like browser tabs open. Normally I would have like Clip Studio Paint open at the same time and my computer would be like, why is all this happening? I'm overheating. But now it's fine. You know, my memory is only at 50%. At some point I should probably get more RAM. I was thinking about this at some point because now I'm actually, now like whenever I need to edit videos and that sort of thing, yeah, whenever I need to edit we haven't been on McCappin Island yet, I don't think so. If we have, I don't remember. No, we have been on Captain. No, have we? I don't remember. Let's talk to Captain again. He'll tell us if we have or if we haven't. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I should get more RAM at some point so, you know, I can actually render videos a little bit faster, but I'm not really in a rush. I'm not doing that much video editing. I don't mind video editing. Video editing, it's okay, is what I'd say. It's just, but the most annoying part about video editing, in my opinion, is not actually the editing itself. It's deciding, like, if you're making like a montage of like funny moments, it's finding out where the funny moments are in the first place. Because that's a nuisance. I'm just like, I don't know what parts are funny. Okay, so we've already done this. Let's, I guess on to Nook Mile mission farming because we've done everything else. So, craft, customize, seashells. We can do that. Let's take a picture of Cap'n, why not? Does Cap'n react if you... No, he doesn't. He's just vibing there. Fair enough. He's free to do whatever he wants to do, but we'll take a picture of him. You know, invade on his privacy. Yeah, what was I going to say about cleaning a computer? Yeah, it used to be a thing I used to do far more often. I used to like clean it like every... I'd say it like 3 to 6 months, depending on how often I'd remember. But it's sort of just like... Computers are kind of heavy. I don't really mind unplugging all the cables and replugging the cables. It's just, you know, I can't clean it up like where in my room right now because it's like my room's like carpeted or whatever. You know, if I build up like some static electricity and accidentally discharge it through my motherboard, that could be a rather costly replacement for no real good reason. It's just like lugging it about was really annoying. If anything, I suppose that's kind of like, oh, I need to like hit the gym to actually sort of build up a bit of muscle mass to actually be strong enough to... Well, it's not like I can't lift up my computer. It's just like, it's tiring, you know? Tiring walking around with it. And then you know, to walk around with it, and you have to walk around with a vacuum as well. And you have to walk around with like all the other stuff you need as well to clean your computer. I'm saying it out loud, it's really not that big a deal. I just, legitimately, I just kind of forgot that was the thing that I should do more often. And I just was just thinking about it the other day, being like, when is the last time I did it? It's certainly one of those things. If you fall out of favour of doing that sort of habit, you risk a chance of not being able to, of just letting it idle for too long and then not building up again. Like the fact I haven't done my Chinese language learning for quite a while. Like a recap on vocab. So you know, if I go back to it now, I'll just be like, this vocab, and I can't remember how to do it. I should certainly do it, and I just find a good timing to do it every single day. Probably when I wake up. It's a good time to like wake up my brain or something with it. But I don't do it with a Japanese one because I don't like the Japanese app as much. It's a bit more finicky. I'll say I would like it if it was a bit more straightforward, like Hello Chinese app. But it's the only app which let me skip forward a load of modules is a problem. Other ones are tried at least. Anyway, let's customize whatever we need to customize. Probably a shovel or something. I forgot what else I was going to talk about. Yeah, I don't know. Cleaning your computer. I can remember, like, the first time like I ever cleaned my computer. It was a pre-built computer from, I don't know, like Curry's or something, which is just like an electronics chain in the UK. It was terrible. It was like, it ran Windows Vista. It was a really weird design where the power button was on the top of a case, and it really didn't have any particularly good specifications or anything. And I don't even remember what the specifications were in the first place, but I didn't know how to build a computer back then, obviously. But like I remember the first time like I cleaned it, I was like, I didn't know there could be so much dust in here. But I also cleaned it just by like literally just like sticking a vacuum cleaner in there. I got very good at sticking a vacuum cleaner in at the right angles to make sure that it would like actually pick up all the dust on the fans and that sort of thing. But you know, now I know you're not meant to do that. You're also not meant to spin the fan. That also like tends to spin the fan, which you're not meant to do while the computer's off or something, because it like wears it down. I don't really remember. There are some things, you know, in life when it comes to sort of like the preservation of the things you own and that sort of thing. Some things matter a lot more than others. Like, you know, one of the things like matters a lot. Probably, you know, don't stick a vacuum directly into the, you know, the computer case, just in case you actually do cause a short circuit of some sort. Fair enough. The thing about not spinning the fans even a little bit, spinning the fans a little bit, it probably doesn't make that big a difference. Unless it does, in which case I'm speaking out of ignorance, to be fair. So who really knows? But there's bits and pieces which like matter and bits and pieces which don't. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I have a really good example of like a maths one where it's like, you know, it's like with integration or whatever, there's like, oh, if you have an indefinite integral, you need to always make sure you do plus c once you resolve it and that sort of thing, which is like the sort of thing which, yeah, technically matters, but everyone knows what you're talking about. Oh no, you know, I thought of a better one. A better one is like specifying what base you're working in when you're working with natural logarithms. In maths, you know, in high school, whatever, it's like, oh, it's of paramount importance. You use the correct ones. You know, use a natural log or something when you're using ln when you're actually using a natural log to make sure people don't get confused and that sort of thing. But then you know you go to university, you study maths, everyone just uses log. It's like, what base is it in? What you should be able to work it out from a question. And the truth of the matter is, you should be able to work it out from a question. And 99% of the time is natural log. I'm going to be honest. No, okay. It's how it breaks down. 70% of the time it's natural log. 25% of the time it doesn't actually matter which log you would have used. It's the same. And then 4% of, like 4.9% of the time it'll be log to base 10. No. I guess it kind of might matter what you study. How about 50% of the time it's natural log. 20% of the time it doesn't actually matter what what log base you use. 10% of the time is base 10. 10% of the time base 2. And the other 10% of the time, maybe it does actually matter. It's something else entirely. Now, that doesn't work because my whole point was that the 0.1% time of when it actually matters. Now, how about 9.9% of the time it's something else and it actually matters, but you can work it out from context. And the 0.1% of the time is when you have multiple different natural logs. Not natural logs, sorry. Logarithms to different bases in the same question. By the way, might be dependent on what you end up studying, by the way. So don't take that as my word for it. Just do, you know, what I say for like your A-levels, your GCSEs and that sort of thing. I mean, just like, you know, when you know better, you can sort of drop it. You know, you got to learn the rules to know how to break them, is basically the long and short of it. Okay, I don't even know what missions we have. I was not paying attention. That's not going to happen. Catch fish, catch deep sea creatures. Alright, I guess I'll catch some fish. Maybe we can get another couple piranhas. So we can do a piranha statue. Yeah, I don't know, clean your computer, so I say. I will say, having the dust filter, I think, probably has made the situation far better for my computer than it would have been if I didn't have that dust filter at the bottom for the fans. Because if I didn't have that dust filter, who knows how much dust would have, you know, eventually built up inside the computer. Would have been probably atrocious to even think about. Inconceivable. Unbelievable. Inconceivable. I can't believable. How does a Flim Flam song go? I don't remember. Something like that. It probably like saved me a lot of hassle, to be perfectly honest, and it's greatly satisfying to. Hey Phoebe, you don't mind if I just steal this fish from you, do you? Greatly satisfying just to clean it up. And it's one of the things actually I find very satisfying is cleaning in itself, and you know I like things being clean. What's this? A neon tetra, a rainbow fish. I don't think we have one of those as a model, so why not? It was actually a question. Like one of my friends, she posts like on our like personal friend circles Discord, like these questions every single day, being like, oh, what do you think of X, Y, Z, or what's your opinion X, Y, Z? And then there's like a multiple choice question when you like put your answers to it. One of them recently was like, if you could have one of these household tasks automated for you, not done perfectly, but done adequately, but you get no control over how it's done, which of these would you want done? And the answers, the possible selections were like cleaning, I could just get up and I could just tell you, not get up, but get up the question and tell you. It was let's see. It was cleaning rooms, cooking, laundry, shopping for essentials, and washing up. And me immediately, I was like, cooking. One, because all the other four I don't find that bad. Actually, quite like, I think cleaning is fun and rewarding. Laundry is one of the easiest chores to do. I would certainly say it's just get dirty laundry, put it in washing machine, and you know, turn on the washing machine. Well, I guess you make sure you put detergent in there. And then if you're a little bit more advanced, you know, separate out. I don't know why I just fished that for no apparent reason. Separate out the coloured laundry from the white laundry, and then you know, wash like delicates together or something like that. But even that's relatively simple. And if you want to make it even simpler, you could just have like 2 laundry baskets and just like separate them that way. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're colourblind, maybe it's not so simple, but I don't really know. I'm not colourblind, so unfortunately I can't say that. Shopping, I would say shopping would be my second choice, kind of. Because shopping is a little bit annoying, but I actually kind of like going to the shops. I think it's kind of fun, sort of like walking around the supermarket picking up what you want. I don't know why, I guess it's kind of like that sort of nostalgic. I like pretend like I'm in like some nostalgic idyllic movie or something set in like the 1990s or something. I don't know, it feels very relaxing that way. And washing up I think is also quite enjoyable and also reasonably easy. And I don't even mean using a dishwasher. I use a dishwasher now, of course. Well, not of course, but I don't always use a dishwasher. And I think washing up pots and pans, you know, manually with, you know, your hands, easy. Well, not easy, okay, I'm not going to say it's easy, it's not like good. I don't want to, you know, belittle people who, like, aren't able to do it because of, for whatever reasons. It's just, I would say, it's straightforward, is probably. It's a simple task, but cooking is not a simple task, you know. Cooking, you actually got to like pay attention to it. You got to make sure things don't burn. You got to make sure things that like sort of taste nice. You got to think about like your meal prep and like what you're going to plan ahead. And a lot of it takes a lot of time. So, you know, I voted for cooking. You know, it's 50-50 basically. Everyone either voted for cleaning rooms or cooking. And that's basically just sort of down to your personal preference of which one I suppose you dislike more. And I just like cleaning a lot, way more than I like cooking. So, that's why I chose that. Okay, we've got 5 fish. Hammerhead shark, that's not happening. I think we'll just round off this episode here. There's nothing really else for me to talk about. So no, spring cleaning, that sort of thing. It's not spring. It's still kind of summer. But you know, if you haven't cleaned out your computer for a while, probably clean out your computer so you don't have a load of dust building up there. And if your computer's going like, then that's probably why. Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again. Bye now. So farewell. So until next time. Bye bye for now.